What's good, my broskies? Today I'll be doing an sort of advanced dogfighting tutorial. I know a lot of you guys saw the Wings of Duty for Noobs, like part 3. You guys probably know how, hopefully you guys know how to take off and land by now and do that kind of stuff. But today I'll be showing you guys a few of the maneuvers that I like to pull off, which are quite common, and hopefully will help you become a better dogfighter. I would have recorded this in realistic mode, but I just could not find any matches in realistic mode whatsoever. And I wanted to show you, I mean, you don't need realistic mode to learn how to do some maneuvers, although a lot of the stuff is easier in historic mode, so it's a good way to practice dogfighting before you take it to realistic mode. So anyways, let's talk about what's going on. I did not talk about the first part of this clip, but that's not a big problem. Basically, we're just going to turn with him here. This is just a simple turn and burn until you shoot him down. This is probably the most basic maneuver. If you're in a plane that can out-turn someone, just straight up turn with them and deploy flaps to turn harder if you need. But just be careful and watch your energy levels. Alright, so this is going to be the first real clip that we're going to review. Basically, I'm going to avoid the head-on-head here by do whatever it takes to avoid. Typically, I go barrel roll and then split S or high yo-yo. In this case, I just kind of went off to the side, dipped downwards. And the whole goal with this was to get as close to him as possible, so that's why I turned into him. I'll always turn into my opponents, creating steep angles. I pulled up with him in that climb there because he's killing his energy, and I know my Yak 1B can take it. Now what he's going to do is what I like to call like a death spiral or something, where he pretty much just goes straight towards the ground. This is a really common German tactic, and if you're flying a German plane and someone's on your 6 o'clock, just put the nose towards the ground and just keep going there. It's going to make it so that the Yaks or whatever's on your tail, which can't go nearly as fast as the German planes can, will have to slow down, and you can easily get some distance like that. So that's what he did, and I'm just going to follow up with him. I'm going to go ahead and get some altitude here, because eventually he's going to have to pull back up if he wishes to dogfight, and that's going to allow me to close the distance even more, which you can kind of see he does. So now I'm in shooting range. He's even going to turn a little bit, which is going to open up an angle, and if I'm a good shot, I should be able to finish him here. We did get some good hits. Now, if you notice, I didn't turn directly into him because that would have just killed some speed. I went off to the side, which is kind of like a yo-yo. Watch that again if you need to, but basically don't just turn with them, turn to the side, and like imagine just, it's like taking a shortcut. Okay, so he bailed out, and I'm just going to grab a thumbnail real quick. So I'm going to replay this because I want you guys to understand what I did here. If I had continued to turn with him, there's a good chance I would have overshot him. So what I did is I turned with a bigger radius while maintaining my speed, so that if I need to get out of there, I can more easily, and plus I'll be able to keep up with him much more better. So that is why I took the larger turn radius rather than turning just with him. Okay, so now this is just going to be a simple B and Z maneuver. B and Z stands for boom and zoom. I featured this a lot in all of my dogfighting tutorials, but I'm going to show it to you guys on a Stuka, and maybe some fighters later on. I don't remember. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and just get above our targets, and we're just going to simply dive down on them. The Yak 1B is not the greatest B and Z fighter out there, but if you're in a B and Z fighter like the German or American planes, then you can go much faster, and it's a lot better. But I'm going to do the Yak 1B on the Stuka because that's the way to go. So I'm going to line up my shots, and I don't get the kill, so I'm going to go ahead and just zoom right past him. Not going to stay there and kill needless speed. I'm going to keep my altitude and speed up. He's going to go ahead and just keep flying straight, and we're just going to kind of roll with him here. That way we can, like I said, keep our speed up, as I mentioned before, without having to slow down. We can just turn a little bit. Now we're just going to line up on him again. He's going to start maneuvering a little bit more. We should be able to get him out here. So now that we got him out of the way, we're going to go ahead and increase that throttle again. And I wouldn't really recommend shutting the throttle off unless you really have to, but I wanted to make sure I got the kill on the second run. And now I can climb away and maintain my altitude. In this clip, I'm B and Zing against multiple fighters. That's the way to take out groups, is by having that energy advantage. There's about 4 fighters here that I have to deal with, and for a lot of people, this is a very sketchy situation. I'm going to go ahead and turn here with him now, because I want to make sure I can at least get one of them out. One of the Germans is going to get on my tail, but I'm going to follow with this guy. And I don't really pull a lot of maneuvers here. It's mostly just turn and burn, and that's because the Yak 1B can out-turn him, and there's no real reason to do anything but stay on a 6 o'clock. I'm going to cut my speed because he's going to try forcing an overshoot. He's going to try and scissor, but doesn't do too good of a job. So he's going to turn, and hopefully one of his comrades will take me out. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen for him, and I get the kill. Now I got to deal with the other comrade behind me. I was planning on scissoring with him, but there's honestly no need. I was already in the middle of a really good turn, so I'm going to just turn with him. But typically, I would turn back into him and try to make him overshoot. But it just seemed like too much of a risk, and I knew that I could easily outturn him if I just kept with him. He's going to stall out in the turn, actually, and just ram straight into the ground. So that's 2 opponents down just by maintaining speed. Now, BF-110's coming in. I immediately turn into him to increase his angle of attack, which makes it incredibly hard to take shots on me. And because of that, BF-110, he's going to fly away now, and I can focus on the Stukas coming in at the base. Now we're going to do more B and Z. This is the #1 tactic I recommend to everyone, just because you can't really go wrong with it. So now we're going to dive on this fighter who's going to go ahead and initiate that death spiral or whatever. I decide I'm going to go help my comrade out, but then I see that he seems to be doing alright over there. So now I'm going to focus on that 110 behind me because I don't want to get killed by it. I'm going to turn back into it. He's going to go ahead and miss again. I'm going to pull up because I know that he probably can't do that, and just immediately start turning with him. It's also very important to know what your fighter can and cannot do. I know that the 110 couldn't follow me there, and I'm going to try and close the distance. I dodged that head-on-head there because you don't really want to go head-on-head if you can help yourself. Now, he's going to turn back into me, but I had an angle, so I took him out, and now we can worry about the other fighters in the area. He's going to go ahead and try to turn with me or something. I'm going to pull up again because I know he's in a pretty low energy state, but also I was as well, so I stalled out there. Wasn't meant to happen like that, but we magically survive. He's going to go ahead and keep turning with me for whatever reason, so I immediately turn back into him. I don't keep going straight waiting for something to happen. I just immediately turn back into him, and now he's going to try running away once he realizes that I'm on his tail. He's actually going to try climbing back into me, but it did not really work out for him. He's going to let me take some really good shots on him. Unfortunately, I missed most of these, but I still get the kill. Don't know if I really deserved that kill after how much I missed, but it worked out anyways. Now we got one more fighter in the area. This time we got comrades on him, so not really too much I have to worry about here. I'm just going to avoid the head-on-head. This was a little too close for me. Normally I'd pull up or something, but I thought about going head-on-head for a second, even though you really shouldn't. It's just a bad habit at this point. And I'm just going to go and straight up turn with him. Try to keep a little bit of altitude. Try to get the hit. But I missed. That was kind of like a subtle high yo-yo. Just to try to, get myself, cut into his turn and get myself a lead, but it didn't really work out. I'm just going to go ahead and stall out, crash, and that's the next target down. So after missing that Stuka, I'm going to turn back into it. Sorry, I'm a really bad shot. It has been a while since I've played Historic mode. I'm typically much better in Realistic mode. And I'm going to miss a painful amount of shots here, but that's okay. We live and we learn. Okay, so we're turning with the next fighter now. He's turning into us, and it was kind of sucked a little bit because not a lot of the people on the server knew how to scissor fight, so there wasn't really many opportunities to show you what I'm talking about. But typically when it comes to scissor fighting, what you do is you just try to force the enemy to overshoot, and that's by rolling back and forth, whatever it takes, and it's usually by cutting back into their turn. And you kind of tried it there, but it didn't really work out. Alright bros, I don't typically do this, but I didn't get any footage of me doing any rolling scissors, so I found a video of someone doing it pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys, and if you want to check out the clip, I linked it in the description below. Hopefully he does not mind. So what he's going to do here is he's going to look behind him, he's going to spot the 109, he's going to go ahead and, well, he doesn't decrease his throttle, but basically what he does is he's rolling with him and tries to make he's trying to turn into him. And the 109 is going to go ahead and overspeed here, and he's killing his speed when he's doing this at the same time, while the 109 is not able to keep up. And then from there, he's able to get the 109 in his gun sights and get the kill. So that's pretty much how rolling scissors work. I'll talk a little bit more about it now. So let's look at this more slowly and see what's really going on. He's going to look behind him, he's going to spot the German aircraft, and he's going to pull up, which is going to reduce his speed so that the German aircraft is going to go kind of in front of him. He's going to get a little closer to him technically. And when he continued to do this enough, eventually the opponent aircraft is just going to straight up overshoot you because they're just going faster than you at this point, while you're just slowing yourself down while maintaining energy. So he's going to go ahead and look for that snapshot here. The German aircrafts kind of realize what's going on, and he's just going to go ahead and pull up again and turn straight back into him. The German aircraft is going to continue to turn, but not nearly as much as the Spitfire is. So he's going much too slow. He knows that the German aircraft is about to overshoot here, so he's going to immediately roll back into him. It's all about rolling back into the aircraft, creating the closest amount of distance as possible. You don't want any gaps in space here. That's not what you want. Now the German aircraft is going to pull up, but unfortunately for him, he's going to pull up into the gun sights, and this is where we see the snapshot, and he's just going to open fire, and the German aircraft is just going to fly straight through those bullets and catch on fire. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of what's going on in a rolling scissors, and there's multiple ways to do this, and I'm going to go ahead and explain some of those now, but hopefully me slowing this down helped you see what was going on. It's very hard to explain what's going on if you don't understand, and it's hard for me to put it in very simple terms because I don't know if there's words for what I'm trying to describe. I am by all means not a physicist. Okay, so I'm going to give you some tips on how to get started with rolling scissors. The first tip is look at the enemy. If you don't see the enemy, you're just rolling blindly, and you don't want to do that because you could turn into their gun sights and just get shot. So look at the enemy. Once you see them, just start turning the phone into them. Like literally just turn into them. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Just whatever looks like the quickest way to turn into them, just do that. You know, just look at them and keep turning and keep the opponent basically in your field of vision while you're turning. And if they're getting out of your field of vision, that means you're doing it wrong. They should always be in your field of vision when you're scissoring with them. And another good tip is also when they pass in front of you, or you pass over them, or you at the peak of a turn or something, just kill the throttle for a second. And that's just going to give you a slight edge in slowing down, and hopefully they're not going to be doing that, and they're going to just straight up overshoot you. Also in dives, what I recommend is pulling up a little bit and then going back down. Kind of like, just imagine like a feather falling from the sky. That's kind of what you want to do. Just kind of pull up, pull down, pull up, pull down, and hopefully your opponent just dives straight past you because they're not going to be able to slow down enough. Or maybe they won't be able to turn that hard. Once you master the rolling scissors, it's going to be hard to lose a lot of dogfights. This is the type of maneuver that separates the veterans from the noobs. So if you want to become a veteran dogfighter, you have to know how to do a rolling scissors. If you fly a plane that doesn't require rolling scissors, you should learn how to do it anyway, because there's always a time and place for a rolling scissors. One, for example, is when there's multiple enemies and you have to dodge some of them while simultaneously dogfighting the guy in front of you. Anyways, I hope this video helps you become a better dogfighter. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.